Hello gluten-free people, this is gluten-free Jossie, and today I am making cut-out Christmas cookies. And a lot of the process is the same. What I will say about making them gluten-free is that, as always, the cookies are more fragile. And so thus, when you are making these and baking them and taking them off the tray, they're more likely to tear, which is a bummer. Particularly when you're making shapes. The shape is certainly part of the overall presentation. And so what I do, which is probably something plenty of people do who are making cutout cookies with gluten, is that I will stick them in the freezer for a little bit. So after I roll and cut and place them on the baking tray, I just place the whole baking tray directly in the freezer for 10 minutes before popping it directly into the oven. That helps them keep their shape so that they don't spread. But I think then as well, it's still a bit of a risk, particularly one of my favorite shapes, which has nothing to do with Christmas, is this unicorn, which is very prone to tearing, unfortunately, but it's just so fun. I also have a music note as well, which just has, I'm a musician, but I'm also, I guess, a unicorn fan. Most of my shapes, though, are less danger. Like I have a lot of the standard snowflakes, gingerbread, star, angel, Christmas tree, and a bell as well, which are they hold up a little easier. Obviously, all the little fragile bits of this tend to make it a little tougher to work with. I'm also not like super skilled at decorating, and so I've just gotten some pretty straightforward sprinkles. I have some food coloring for the royal icing. And one thing that's also tricky about making gluten-free cutout cookies is that a lot of sprinkles and food coloring contain gluten. And they might not necessarily be listed on the bottle, but it's going to be a cross-contamination issue. And so one brand in particular for sprinkles that I always gravitate towards is Betty Crocker, because it's a main brand that a lot of stores still carry. At least some do, and so I don't have to necessarily pay for shipping. And yeah, they're gluten-free. They're pretty good about making sure they're not cross-contaminated as well, so that's a brand I trust. Food coloring, I've found some online, and Clark, and I've also found Watkins, which stores carry. Those are gluten-free as well. All right, let's get baking. Okay, I've got my first half of my dough rolled out to about 3/8 of an inch thick. You can get it down to 1/4 if you like. They do end up a little thick, I will say, which puts them in greater danger of spreading, but also helps them to not tear. And so I believe if you take my advice of freezing to heart, upside down, that will help prevent some spreading, help you get some good cookies. Okay. Oh, I lost the horn. I'm just gonna stick that back on. You know, I'm just gonna stick back on there. It's a little janky, but what are you gonna do? Okay. I like a variety of shapes. Let's see what I can get. Lumpy corner. Got a tree. always work around the edges first, especially the weird shaped edges, to try to get as many cookies as you can out of each roll, because each time you roll it, it gets tougher and more worked, and so we want to roll them as little as possible. Get a bell and try to almost take it all the way up to the edge as much as possible. Gingerbread man. Star this again. Using them out of that middle, yes. So the first roll, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cookies. And like I said, I'm sticking this whole thing directly in my freezer for 10 minutes before I stick it into the oven. Scraps. A little more flour. Baking mat. It's already feeling a little loosened up, which is not a good thing. Okay. I get 2 out of this. Yeah, I need 2. Push them both down. Ready. Don't fall apart on me now, cookie. Might be able to get one sad little something out of this. Losing it a bit, getting a little layered effect from the flour here. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. So my first batch of 11 cookies is going in the oven. And now we wait. The baked cookies look pretty good. The recipe I used does have baking soda in it, which I believe contributes to some puffiness to these cookies.
but I really like the flavor, and you can still tell what the shapes are supposed to be. In any case, they look a lot better than if I didn't freeze them, which I've done. I told you at the start, I'm not much of a decorator. It's okay to laugh. I'm having fun, so I don't care. I used a royal icing on these and then just some sprinkles.
Mm-hmm. These are good if I say so myself.